Good morning, y'all. It's Spacehead Dipper here. I want to give everybody a shout out saying happy Memorial's Day, and let's honor the fallen troops that died serving for our country and the ones that were missing in action between World War and Iraq and Afghanistan. So that includes World War II, Vietnam, and so on and so forth. So I am dipping Grizzily Long Cut 1900 Natural, or Natural Long Cut 1900, or however you want to pronounce it. I'll tell you, I'm getting a pretty good buzz off this. I normally don't get a buzz off Grizzly, but today, wow, the thing just hit me like a fucking brick. We'll do a little bit of review in a minute of the Grizzly. But first off, I want to show you this new knife I got. It's a Case XX Sodbuster Jr. And I'm not really big into traditional style knives. As you can see, I like tactical. This is a tactical everyday folder or tactical folder, whichever you want to call it. But when I seen this knife, I was like, this is a beautiful piece of craftsmanship. It's 100% made in the USA. It's handmade, and it's handcrafted since 1889. And I don't really know too much about W.R. Case & Sons Cutlery Company, but from what I've heard, they have a lot of good reviews. One guy thinks that it's made out of I think like 420XC or something like that. It's a very high carbon steel, and I've talked to a lot of people about this knife in particular, the Sodbuster Jr., and they say this thing will hold an edge like no tomorrow compared to these machine shop knives like the Sog Trident, which is basically pressed steel out of a die. Now I got this over here for a little bit of size comparisons, but first off we're going to take a look at the Sodbuster Sodbuster, not Sog, but Sodbuster Jr. And I'm going to tell you now, this is a really good piece of craftsmanship. First off, thing I like about it, black handle. The handle's really comfortable. Doesn't feel like it's going anywheres. Even though it's a slip joint design for the blade locking, it's got a solid lockup. It doesn't feel like it's going to close on you. It has a brass pivot and two little brass pins. I don't know if that's holding the knife together. If it is, that's pretty fucking cool, but I could be wrong. It has a brass liner, and it's got a really nice design on it. I don't know if you can see that, probably not. But here, let me hold my hand up. Now, you're not going to be able to see it with the little front-facing camera that I'm using on my phone. And then it just, after the design or before the design, it says Sodbuster. And I was like, this is a nice little knife. It's a good little collector's knife. Now, I carry this thing every day, but say if I'm in an area where you are not permitted to carry this type of knife, this knife would be going in my pocket, because it's lightweight, it's tiny, and you can't feel it. So this is where the size comparisons comes in. And you know how big the Sog Trident is. I mean, it's a fairly large knife, or fairly large folder. I was about to say farge, but you can see the size difference. The blade itself is like 2 inches, and it's like a little over 3 inches overall, but it's not 3 3/4 like the Sog Trident is. So it's a really good knife for the price. I paid $27.97 at a shop where I bought my Grizzly. I also bought a bag of beech nut, and beech nut is fucking good. I don't chew that much, but hey, when I do, beech nut will be my primary chew if they ever get it where I live. But this right here is a good starter knife, especially for someone who's wanting to get into knives but don't really know what to buy. This is the best price. It's under $50, and a lot of people say that it's the best knife that Case came out with in its class. They had the original Sodbuster, which is a little bit bigger. I like big knives, but I don't want to spend the extra money, and I wanted a cheap little knife because hell, why not? And this was my first option. So yeah, but the lockup's great on it. It's very solid. It's actually got a stiff lockup, which is really good, because a stiff lockup, what it basically means, is it's not going anywhere. And opening and closing it is stiff. That could be because that it is new. It's like brand new. I bought it yesterday. This knife, I didn't really use it much, even though I probably should, to get a better example on how well the blade actually holds its edge. But out of the box, it comes razor sharp. And that is due to the flat ground that they use. I don't know too much about grinds, but a lot of people like to flat ground knives because they say it takes an edge better and whatnot. I'm probably going to look up this number. It says USA 2137. So I'm wondering if that's the, well, yeah, that is the steel quality. But I'm going to see exactly what type of steel it is because it says 2137 SS, which is stainless steel. And if it is 420XC, it's corrosion resistant and it's a really high carbon steel. So that'd be cool if it did use the 420XC steel. I could be saying that wrong, but you know what I mean. A high carbon steel for a $27 knife is not bad. So yeah. Go ahead and put this in this packaging and get to the Grizzly. I'm not a natural fan, but I will dip this every day if I could, because if they sold it where I live for $2.50, that is a cheap price. Their dip prices are cheap here. I think at one gas station on the go, a can of Copenhagen's like, I think like $2.37, something like that, or $2.29. Fuck, it's cheap down here. Where I live, which is in Louisiana, where I live, it's like $4 a can. So this is a really good price for dip. So yeah, texture and the cut, I give it a 5 out of 10 because I'm so used to wide cut. When I pinch this, it feels like fine cut. Can, I give it a 10 out of 10 because it reminds me of an old brass spittoon. I don't know if you can see that. Camera probably doesn't do no justice for the color of the lid, but I really like it. And if you're a beginner dipper, I would pick this up. I'll also have another video soon of what dips you should buy when you're a beginner dipper. So until then, this is Basshead Dipper signing out.